Well, kids, we're still doing body work. I know you're excited about it, just the same as I am. But actually, on this particular note, I really am excited. I get to share something with you that I've been learning about. So, you see all this? See how that's discolored? I learned something very, 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 very valuable. Thank you, Mr. Delmer. Over at Herd Main's Garage, or Herd Main's, I think it's Herd Main's Garage. He told me that this right here is a very, very common thing that happens with etch primers. You know how you hide that from popping up through with another primer? That's absolutely right. With an epoxy, no, I'm sorry. Epoxy is what you build on and you sand, I believe, and that also treats the metal. But with a polyurethane primer, it'll go on and seal this. I hope I'm saying that right, Delmer. If I'm not, please correct me, or anybody else that may know better. It's going to seal this as well. You do not want moisture going up underneath this, because have you seen, remember on the quarter panel where it was cracked, like somewhere in here-ish? Well, the reason why is moisture got underneath and cracked it over time. I didn't know that. I've been learning this stuff as I'm going. As I get it, I share it with you guys. So, I also learned another very valuable thing. There's something on my lens. Got it. So, I didn't know you could kind of make a self-leveling putty, if you will. I didn't know there was such a thing. As far as I know, there is no such thing as a self-leveling putty, but you can kind of make it that. I'll tell you this. You take regular bondo, you mix it up with some of that. Or, is it called plastic honey, yellow honey, golden honey, something like that. But from what I've heard, fiberglass resin is the exact same thing. And what it does is it allows that stuff to flow. You can make it as thick as you want or as thin as you want. I mean, you can make it like water just running over it. What does that do? That cuts your sand time tremendously in half, probably by over half. I have ordered some new sanding blocks from Durablock, and what it's going to do, it contours to these curves. Not necessarily this car too much, because it doesn't really have the curves too much. Like, well, over the quarter panel, it would contour to that a lot better and sand. But over your real curvy cars, such as the Bandito, it would really hug them curves a lot better, and it'd be a lot better to sand. But it looks like we got plenty of sanding in our future. That one, that one. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just... So what I'm going to do tonight is sand back over this. Just knock this off. Give it a nice rough surface to stick to. Also, check this out. Can you guys see them little porous areas? Can you see that? That is rust. That is not rusted through. It's where the metal is kind of porous, right? Now we sealed it with this etch primer, correct? So what we're going to do is rough it back up just a little bit so we can throw a real thin, did I say thin? Thin with this resin thing of Bondo, just a real tiny skim coat, just enough to preserve this where it is. Excuse me. Keep it from going any further and make this just a big flat area, because that's what we want. We want this whole car just as flat as a piece of paper, you know, that's on flat ground or something. But I'm just saying, we want it flat. So I'm gonna go ahead and rough this up with some 80 grit, I think is on here. 80 or 60, whatever's on there. I'm gonna rough this up. I am purposely gonna take and make this whole area, I mean, almost from back here to up here, super thin layer. And we're going to test it. We're going to test it out and see how easy it flows. And we're going to actually learn tonight how we need to do it. There's also a real shallow right here that you can't even see. It's like right here-ish. We're also going to hit that area. We had bought some guide coat as well. Now we're not to that stage yet. Believe me, we got plenty of hours of sanding and exciting stuff before we get to the guide coat. But if you're not hip to guide coat, you can buy it in a spray can form. You can spray it in an area, and you want to hit it with a nice flat surface. Another reason why we're getting the sanding blocks from Durablock, because I don't have a long enough sander, and you want to hit that by hand, and you want to shove with it and try to blend whenever it comes to like these lines. You want it nice and flat, and you want to sand too. You don't want to sand it like this. You don't want to sit there and concentrate like this. You'll get a groove on this side. You don't want it groovy, baby. So tonight we're going to focus around the windshield. We're going to get our mix the way we like it. We're going to apply it. Excuse me, this sore throat coffee thing's going on. But we're going to do that. We're probably going to throw a real slim coat over this just as well, just because this is not perfect. Unfortunately, I have not mastered body work yet, but that actually is like 137 times better than it ever was. So I am feeling good about that. And this hood is so much better than it was, but I still have low spots. The thing I forgot to mention, whenever you're sanding with one of these, keep it flat. Don't do this. No matter if you're trying to feather or not, don't do it. I have caused myself a low spot somewhere on one of these right here, because you see how that didn't sand right? That means I didn't have enough fill there. What was I trying to do? I was trying to feather it and make it go away and appear to my eyes that it's nice and flat, even though my hands tell me it's not. So without further ado, I'm gonna start sanding. We're gonna mix up our Bondo. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do it. And we're both gonna learn tonight, all right? Give me a few minutes. All right, so we have sanded what we think is good. Some spots that are higher obviously got to bare metal, such as in the quarter itself. And that little spot over there on the hood, and we went around the windshield. So, this is our Bondo mess. Now, Delmer over at Herdmane's Garage told me this stuff here. He said, before you add your hardener, check your consistency. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to mix all this crap in before we go spreading it. We're going to see if that's consistency that we want. If we're not, we're going to add more. This Bondo will not set up like this. I have not added the hardener. Just for you guys wondering at home. See how it's still kind of Bondo-ish? Not really spreading. Not really oozing too much. Add some more of that liquid gold. Now you can make it too soupy, which in that case you can either roll with it or you can pitch it and go again. The choice is yours. They sell a lot of Bondo for a lot of reasons. I mean, as you guys can see, we end up sanding 97% of it off, I think. It happens. But get it to the consistency you want. You want it to spread very, very smooth and easy with little force, guys. Little force. See how much easier that's spreading? Now, that's still not the consistency I want yet. At least I don't think it is. Maybe it is. That's pretty. Can you guys see that? Do that again for you. See how that flows? That's going to help it self-level as well. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add the the hardener, the activator, what have you. Now for this, I'm adding the activator for the excuse me, the bondo. And you can set this up. You're going to have to use more than what you normally would, because you actually have extra material in. And it's cold out here, so not super cold, thanks to my heater and Lowe's for the insulation and all that. Marketplace, what have you. But anyway, they didn't donate it, I bought it. I'm just saying, I like giving shout outs, because Lowe's gives a military discount and all, and I appreciate it. And they still do on certain things, so don't let anybody tell you they don't give any. They do on certain things. I think that's gorgeous right there. That's nice. That ought to flow very good. So now that we have this all mixed up, wow, this stuff is just, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot runnier than what I thought it was gonna be, but I think it'll do even more gooder with the leveling. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna platter down there. Dang it. Where'd that come from? Well, that's not good. Look more at that for a second. But what we're going to do is just drizzle it. Now, we're just going to try to keep a smooth, consistent, thin, and not push down very hard at all. What we're doing is a real thin coat. And yes, we're covering more area. Don't worry about it. It will fix the imperfections. See that? Smooth. And since this is going on thinner, guess what? Less sanding. So, less sanding equals less paper, equals less money. And during these times of shortage and all that kind of fun stuff, I'm sure we could all, you know, stand to save whatever kind of money we can, can't we? So, but a real thin, consistent, and I'm gonna have to move this stuff here. Just remember, guys, the real smooth, consistent flow with it. Look how that goes. Right there's my low spot. Dribble it all in there. Get you some of that. This stuff will self-level, just like I'm saying. At least that's what I've read. It's a self-leveling type bondoage at affordable prices, you know. Well, anyway, you get that? See what I'm doing there? It's kind of hard since my camera guy quit. I'm just joking, I don't have one. So you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to continue to level this out real quick. We're going to come back to it, okay? So just give me a few minutes. Okay, so there was a lesson learned. The lesson learned was this. I may have added too much hardener. And I'm gonna tell you, whenever it starts clumping up like this, see that clumping? Stop, you're done. You're gonna make it worse. But I did coat, you know, all of that, all of this, and that other piece over here on the hood. You know, I coated all of that with that mess of stuff I made up. And yes, I absolutely positively have, you know, it didn't really level great. And that's my fault, I believe, because I think I put too much hardener in it. Yep, and I should have known better that I'm not a professional body type guy, you know. See that? Apparently I had a piece of debris get in there. Even though I wiped this down, I really don't know how it got in there. But anyway, it did, and that's that. So we're gonna let that set up. In fact, we're going to attempt again to mix up some more to get the rest of that windshield and for a slight coat on the quarter panel. There we go. And I'm going to show you another area that I'm going to address the exact same way. Can you guys see that nastiness? Gar. That's rough, right? That's not gooder. That's how the windshield looked underneath. Like all of that nastiness. But we're not to that part yet. I don't know if it's been smacked in that door at one time. I don't know. Oh, real quick cleaning tip. This is the one I used, if you couldn't tell from the bondo hole being plugged there. If you want to clean these off real quick before it sets up, brake parts cleaner rubs right off. And get you some real cheap gloves from the Freights of Harbor. They're like 10 bucks or 12 bucks or something. They're worth it. Believe me, my gadgets are clean. That never happens in the shop or at work. But anyway, so what I'm telling you is, there's a fly that just landed there. Get out of here. Shoot fly, don't bother me. This stuff here, for the most part, I was really super duper happy with. I'm going to be really happy if tomorrow night I can sand this down with a nice flat edge and get some absolutely spectacular results. You can see how thin it actually is. See how you can actually see through it? That's what I'm talking about. It's got this, whenever you do it like this, somehow it's a self-leveling, I guess, where it just kind of falls into a spot where it's, you know, like putty, you know. But anyway, I'm going to finish mudding around the windshield, quarter panel, and hopefully we can get a better consistency. I don't know, hopefully you guys saw how much hardener I applied, and don't do that much. They say you want twice as much if you use the liquid gold there, the fiberglass resin, or the, I think they call it plastic honey or something on the Amazonian site. Everything I've read says it's the exact same stuff. Somebody can correct me if they want. This will be a little, is it the same or is it different kind of, I guess, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to continue. Yep, that stuff sets up like now. Look at that. Dang it. So we're going to go a lot lighter. We're going to make it soupy again. And we're going to add like maybe just a little bit more hardener than what we normally do mixing bondo. And we're just going to see what that does. So let's just see what happens. Alright guys and gals, there are a few things that I feel like I should go through, such as this right here. Now you see what I see, right? I did another method there. That is called flooding the panel. I know that I had high and low spots, high spots here, low spots here, everywhere, right? And whenever we start using the high gloss, or what the hell the crap's called, that points out your high and low spots, it's really going to show up. So I flooded the panel. We're going to sand with a flat surface, same as this. We're going to break out our that feller right here. And I'd say we're probably going to use we'll probably go 220 with this. And as we sand, we're going to rake it this way to blend. We're going to try to, we're going to keep it flat and keep even pressure. That's the main parts. Consistency, it's the same in everything in life. If you are consistent, you will win. Unless you're consistently frigging up, then you're going to lose constantly. Consistency, whatever, But you can see, even up here, there are light areas. This right here, I really just had a little low spot right here, maybe there. Look how sloppy. But I have my tape in place, so it doesn't matter. That's where we're not going to have to worry about that, where it went up over the tape. I simply just wanted to get the most material in those porous type areas that I knew existed. We'll be sanding that by hand because we don't want to rip up our paper or our tape or any of that stuff. We ain't trying to tear up the rubber underneath there. This here, it's probably solid enough to go ahead and sand. I'm going to let it sit overnight for the simple reasons of I've never done it like this, and I've heard a few things saying let it flash out, give it its time. I will tell you this. If you're an inexperienced body guy like this, I don't know if I'd necessarily add too much more hardener. I don't know if it's where I have a heater on in here. It's honestly like 65-ish, 70 in here, which is, I'm pretty lucky compared to last year and the year before. So working outside and then working in here with no light and no heat, no electric and all that crap. So we built the bug right there in dirt. Just like right there. That's a pretty big accomplishment. So, and we've come a long way, and I want to thank you guys for keeping on watching with me, and but anyway, like I said, if this stuff starts clumping up, see that, you're done. Stop messing with it, because you're going to make it 20 times worse. Just go ahead, bite the bullet, and say, you know what, we'll fix it later. Hopefully you'll be fixing it in the sanding areas. That would be a real big plus. But anyway, we've got the windshield all lined out the way we wanted. We got this done, that done, and that quarter. That right there, guys, I believe is like quite a percentage of the body problems with this car. We took these off, there's nothing really there. So where these were added, the little blue bumper thingies, so the only area really right here, and then we have a few areas around the top that we have to fix yet. I've welded in and stuff like that. They welded, or they drilled holes for whatever reason. Maybe they had a new drill bit, I don't really know. But they drilled holes for, like, I ain't kidding you, that was a big drill hole. That one right there I didn't quite finish. I'll need to fire up the old welder and tack that back in a little bit. Grind it back down, make it flat. But other than that, this right here, this is the big part of the body work on this car. I've walked all the way around it. I can see a door ding now right here. Get a lot of different angles of your car. Take a light, just hold it certain ways, because I'm telling you, if you paint a car with a door ding, you're gonna feel like a big dinghy. I've done it. and I've only painted one. So we're trying to get better every single time. That's the goal. You don't want to keep doing the half cheek type paint, do you? Doesn't make sense. This stuff costs too much money to half cheek it. Well, that's my soapbox story, guys. We're going to come back. We're going to hit this with our 220, 240, something, I don't know. Whatever kind of paper we find first and slap on it. And we're going to go from there. So we'll see how good we did, all right? And I think I'm going to make this into this episode. So this is just me saying peace out for tonight, and we'll come back maybe tomorrow, hopefully. I think, maybe. We'll see. All right, so till then, we'll see you in the morning, evening, night, whatever time, all right? All right, well, as you noticed, I'm definitely wearing, I think I'm wearing different stuff. I don't even know. But anyway, we got out a whole bunch of sanding stuff. We got out our airfoil. We got 80 grit on it. This is a new thing from the Harbin freight we picked up. We put 80 grit on it. We also picked up a sandpaper cleaner. From what I understand, these things actually work. So, pretty excited to save some money with that. But I got on the Amazonian site, and I bought these Dura blocks. It came with these 3 bars of soap. That's, I don't know how they smell, but it sounds really good. Cedar, chip, dust, shop stuff. I don't know. Anyway, then it came with these putty knives, but it's a 6-piece set. I think it was like 65 bucks or something. But there was a reason why I wanted these, because you see how this kind of, like, you know, does this quarter panel, you know, she does this. It's all got rolls to it, right? You can't really sand that very well if you got an old school piece of rubber. I mean, it's flat. That sucker don't give, it don't bend. I mean, for real, it don't. But these, as I just took a sticky piece of paper and wrapped around it, these have some give to them. That one's kind of solid, actually. But with very little pressure, you can like bend it around and it will adhere to your, it'll take the form of your stuff. Same thing with this. See how that bends real easy? And it keeps you flat at the exact same time. Then of course you have your longer ones. This, I believe, is used for curves. You know, like this had an indentation in here. You know, you could sand it like that. Of course, this right here is made for big, long areas, just the same as this, and just the same as that. Now, here's a little truth. I may have, and when I say may have, I did. I forgot to get the sandpaper for this. Yep, not a shining moment for me. Thus, the reason why I have a piece of 180, like, you know, the sticky stuff on this one. Yep, that just happened. But we're going to use it for this. We're going to use it for the windshield frame. We still have use for it, so we're good. We're golden, pony boy. And we may use it for the quarter panel as well. You know, we're gonna do what we can do. But anyway, remember what I was telling you about feathering this? I'm just going to show you real lightly. Whenever you have this, you push down and you shove out. And what you're wanting to do, one, you're wanting to get it flat. Two, you're wanting to feather toward this seam. You're wanting to make it nice and flat. So whenever you're doing that, one, make sure you're flat. And push down and feather. Also, that'll keep you from, if you're doing it this way, you're going to have gaps on both sides, right? You don't want that, do you? I've seen some people sand in an X-type pattern, where they go boom, boom. I can't remember. I saw it earlier, but they are constantly moving it in a different type way. and I'm just showing you real lightly here. Look how aggressive that paper is. I mean, it's hitting the high spots right now. So that's a good thing. So actually what I might do, where I'm so new to this stuff, I'm trying to learn, and I'm trying to show you guys the right way. I may actually hit it with this air file real quick just to get it down to see where we're at. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still disappointed because I can feel a spot. It's either a low spot here or a high spot here or a good combo of the both. So, you know. But this part here, we're just gonna, we can sand it this way. We can just let him eat. This bad boy right here, we don't have to worry a whole lot about. There was honestly just a little dip right there. I just went a little above and beyond on it, just because I don't want any divots if I can stop it. I don't want, you know, I want a good looking body on this sucker. Whenever she's done, I want people to say, look, either that car was perfect from the factory or somebody spent some time. That's what I want for this. So, is it going to be perfect? Probably not. But we're going to aim small and miss small. If you aim for perfection, chances are you're going to hit something pretty good. That's still a little high there, as you can see. But I'm going to put on probably, what do I got on there? This is 180 on this one. So I might take that down to a 220. Just blend that a little better. But the same thing, keep the sander flat. Actually, I don't have to, look at that. And that's very little pressure, guys. Because all it is doing is eating at the high spots. It's eating at the high spots. And I'm not even kidding you, that is perfect. That really is. That's nice, super nice. Where I just sanded, not here, I'm not saying that, but right here, it just made it flat as a pancake. I like that, sweet. So that makes my day on that one. But we got a lot of sanding to do. Long road to go and a short time to get there, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna take the air file, I'm gonna hit this, just to knock down the high highs, and then we're gonna hit it with this puppy here, and we're gonna try to slowly mold it, I think. We might have to change our paper to a less aggressive paper whenever it comes to this one. More aggressive to cut down, less aggressive to form. Might want a 180 or 220 after we knock the initial highs down. All right, so give me a few minutes. We're gonna see what eats, and hopefully don't eat too much. All right. We learned some things tonight. Absolutely. One, we do like the Durablock sanders, blocks things. And if I can find the one I really like, I'll show you. But I don't know what the frig I did with it. But anyway, it was the long, thin, narrow one, and that sucker just, it ate. I love it. Where did I put it? I knocked over the box of sanders, so then I started putting everything over here because I'm organized and not really. And then I like put it on something else and it fell off. And but anyway, there it is. So this is the one. This is one heck of a sander block. It gives pretty good. I mean, she bows to the body really well. And as you can see, I don't have the right paper. I took one DA pad, cut it in 2 pieces, and I used it that way, and it works excellent. The second thing we learned, excuse me, I probably should practice what I preach and warn my respirator, because I think my voice might be a little bit more tomorrow, you know. But anyway, it did that Durablock. I love that. It filled in all them pinholes like I wanted around the windshield. Excuse me. And as you can see, it is not super thick. I haven't even cleaned off the dust off the car because Look at all this dust. Look at all that. Like I tell you, 97% of this stuff comes back out. That being said, look at here. Huh? Now I know you can't tell, and you're saying, why is it shiny? Well, I used this sander right here, and it helped me level all of this out. With the exception, I have a high spot right daggone there. That's where I pulled the ding. So I'm gonna have to ding her down with a hammer just a little bit. Right there and there. On both sides of where the where the incident was. So where the dude smacked it with a hammer for some reason, I don't know. But anyway, the little small ding that was over here, I think it was somewhere in here. Anyway, that super thin coat, and believe me, that sucker is super thin, it fixed it. That ding is gone. No mo. The quarter panel, not gonna lie, guys, I came down here at 9 o'clock. It's sniffing at midnight. So yeah, I've done a buttload of sanding, and like I say, around this windshield, I'll have to perfect, sand it just a little bit. But I mean, I am really super happy with that. And don't worry if you hit bare metal again. That's why they make primer. It is what it is. But this one come out excellent. But yep, right there. I can feel it with my hand. So we're gonna peg that one down just a little bit, and whenever it feels like it's pegged about right, we're gonna, hopefully we'll get it right this time. That way so we can move to the rest of the car. Oof, that dust, that ain't no joke. The quarter panel I did not even touch hardly. I started to, and I thought, you know what, I've got the windshield, this, that, and this turned out just smooth as silk. So, but I think you guys probably saw me saying that. But my two favorite sanders thus far are, if this one was a little more flexible, I would probably love it a little more. That I got sheets of paper coming for it anyway. But anyway, these ones are excellent. These thin ones are awesome. These are awesome. I mean, they give just enough, and you're going to sand flat. That's the main part. Just because you push hard back here and not up here doesn't mean anything. It's going flat. That's awesome, isn't it? Because that's what you want. You want a flat surface. I also use this, and I went in a motion just the same. Back, you know, just trying it, because this moves a little faster than this. Now, with this, you don't want to set in an area. And never tilt it. If you tilt it, you're wrong. Because you're going to dig. You're going to dig into what you just put in there. If I'm sitting here trying to feather out this corner, guess what? I just left a high spot right before it. Not a good thing. Don't do that. I actually did it before. That's how I know. And my buddy Delmer told me so. But yeah, overall, with the exception of that darn thing right there, and I kind of thought it was still going to be high, all of it turned out just beautiful. I'll be so stoked if the quarter panel comes out great like that. I have a feeling it will. But the main thing, guys, let's just say you don't have one of these sanders. Get one. I'm just saying it's worth its weight. You can put two hands on it, you can put a little bit of pressure on it. That sucker does its due. You just work it, and it'll just eat for days. But let's just say, look, I don't have that kind of money. I have a sander, I have some old sandpaper, what have you, right? Use both hands on your sander. Use it like, can you see it? Can you see it now? Use it like this. Make yourself hold it straight. Don't lift. Make yourself keep it flat. Okay? Make yourself keep it flat. Another thing, if you're tight on paper, if you're on a budget, everybody's on a budget anymore, am I right? Use that little, wherever the heck it went, the square looking thing. Get this thing running, run it up and down it. It'll clean it off. Another thing, constantly dust your area where you're working. I know you guys see this dust, but guess what? This area here, pretty spotless. Because every time I was sanding, I did that trick. Every time. To keep that old plastic, because that's what Bondo is, from getting back in the paper, melting to the paper, what have you. I didn't want that stuff in my paper. I wanted to keep it as clean as possible so it didn't gum up my paper. But overall tonight, guys, I'd say we hit a victory. And this is going to be a longer video than what I thought, so hopefully this is a good one. Again, guys, if you guys know any old body guys, watch them. Because body work like this isn't even much. Anybody that does body work will tell you this isn't anything. But for me that don't know what the heck I'm doing, this is a lot of work. I've been in here for 3 hours working on this, that, and around the windshield. Now, a seasoned professional body man could have had this done, that done, that done, the quarter done, and probably 5 hours total. I don't know the amount of hours I have in this car already. And we're not close to painting it. Not really. Because I don't know what else lies ahead, you know. I know I got a few door dings. There's a fender ding over there on that driver's side. We still have, you know, hours of fun right there in that quarter panel. So we got our work cut out for us. But nonetheless, I'm going to say, oh, one more thing. Let's just say you have to get this edge here, right? For the love of Pete, don't set something in between here and here to prop this side up with the hood latched. That would be a big no. I'll actually put that big rubber block right there on the hood stop in here, the hood latch part, so it wouldn't latch. Because, look, we got space. These hoods bend a little bit anyway, right? Now, if I just pry up this side with that hood latch latched, I'm really bending this side, especially if I'm putting some weight on this and really shoving. Or I'm putting weight on the manual one that looks like that, you know, without the air. If I'm really shoving and I'm working material, I'm bowing this hood. I'm ruining what I'm fixing at the same time, if that makes any sense to you. So do not do that. Not only that, you can put a ding in your fenders. If you're pushing down hard enough and use the 2x4 or what have you, you can also ding your fenders. Not worth it. You don't have to do all that. So I absolutely would recommend doing this trick for multiple reasons. One, I got Bondo on the daggone tape. So you know what that means. Nothing at all. Doesn't mean spit. All that means is I'm gonna have to tape that back off, pull it up. We're gonna see how good our body work is. We're gonna stand closer. It's gonna be a little more tedious, and then I'm gonna throw another thing of tape on there. That's it. That's all that means. If I Bondoed over it like I did in a few places, I don't want to show you because it's embarrassing. But, you know, it's going to break off. You know what that means? Nothing. Nothing at all. That means I did a good job taping. That's all that is. So don't beat yourselves up over it. You can fix any of this stuff. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I screw up at least 37 times probably on this episode, and it's still going to come out. I promise you. She's still going to be black, gloss black, and it's going to look good. But anyway, guys, any of you seasoned guys got some Tips of the trade out there, throw them out. I'll absolutely listen. Luck Nut, a few of you, I appreciate everything you guys are telling me. And you guys are making my day, man. I appreciate it. Every little tidbit helps. And you're also helping other people that watch this show. And that's what this show's about, is to help anyone trying to do it themselves. Trying to save some money, trying to make their ride look good. So, we're off to a great year. We're going to keep this ball rolling. If you don't mind, just, you know, hit the old like and subscribe button if you don't mind. I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you here next time on Right Turn Garage TV. It's getting a heck of a lot better.